Welcome to Trevor Kremenek's Best of 2022. I didn't know this would end up becoming a series, but here we are. So it is now the end of the year, which means it's time to read off my list of the best movies of 2022 in my personal opinion. I was also planning to do a worst of, but I was planning for the entire month of December, actually, to find all of the quote-unquote bad movies of this year and just watch them all in like a week or a couple weeks. But then just time got by, and then at the end of it, I was like, you know what, I got stuff to do. So that ended up getting scrapped. But really, there's really only two. If I had to do a worst of list right now, the two bad ones I would put are Firestarter and The Munsters. Because The Munsters, when I saw it, I'm going like, okay, it's not for me, but I can see how it's for others. And then the more I thought about it, I'm going, yeah, okay, this is not very good. But Firestarter, it had all of the resources available to make it a better movie than the original was. And they totally screwed it up. They totally messed it up, and whatever. But, yeah, and then, you know, that's really all I have for that. So it would make it a really quick video. But, oh well. So I was planning to do a top 10. But the more movies I saw, it then became 10. Then it went to 15. Then it went to 20. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be a long thing. So what I'm going to do is I've narrowed it down to 15 movies. And there's 5 honorable mentions. So we're just going to start off with the honorable mentions. And I'm going to say this right now. A lot of these movies, they've changed grades for me. Like one movie, I'll probably point it out when I get to it. I gave it an amazing, and then over time, I then thought about it more and went like, you know, okay, let's drop down. Or movies that I gave like great, and they've bumped up the more times I've thought about it. Especially after some rewatches. So yeah, if you go back and listen to the original reviews, you know, the stuff that's going to be changed, that stuff is going to be like, I thought you gave it this grade. It's changed. So there's that. There's also some of these movies, especially in the month of December, I've saw a couple of these movies that are going to be on the list. I saw them and just haven't reviewed them. From what I'm looking at right now, there is about 4 movies? 4 movies. There's 4 movies on this list. Well, at least 3 and then 1 honorable mention that I have seen in this month and just didn't review it because I wanted to focus on the 12 Days of Reviews series that I did. And I was thinking like, okay, either get a review, you know, like get these reviews out as quick as I can, and then the 12 days, or just solely focus on the 12 days and just save these 4 movies for like January or something like that. So probably in January, these 4 movies that I will point out, or if you go back and look at this year, or look back at this month and go like, oh wait, this was on his list and he didn't review this. Those I'll probably save for like January or something like that, because some of them I definitely want to talk about. So that should be all the stuff out of the way. So let's get in with the honorable mentions. And the first honorable mention is Scream 5. So I was a bit hesitant going into this because I'm thinking, oh God, they're bringing this back. Okay, what are they going to do? Okay. And then the more information that started coming out of it, I was going, okay, like I'm in for this. Like, The directors of Ready or Not were in this, and I'm like, all right, I really liked Ready or Not. I really liked their segment in the first VHS movie. Okay, I can see how this can be good. And then it was announced, that David Arquette was coming back, Nev Campbell was coming back, Courtney Cox was coming back, and then the rest of the cast. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, I'm in for this. Then I saw it and I went, okay, you know what? I liked this. It did have some things that I didn't like. I would like to say spoilers, but I don't really want to say anything. Even though the internet pretty much gave it away, like the first week this movie came out. But overall, I did like what they did. Yes, there were some things in there where I'm like, okay, you didn't need to do that. And then the killers, I was going like, okay, I kind of expected that. The killers. I'm like, okay, I definitely expected that. Like, okay, and like, yeah, they were a bit shady from minute one. Yeah, you're kind of on my mind a little bit. Yeah, you may seem out of the ordinary. And then when it's revealed who the killer or killers are, I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of guessed that. So, yeah, the surprise wasn't there. I was just like, that's what I thought. So, yeah, if it was a little less like, if it was more shocking, then it would have gotten bonus points. But overall, I think this was a good sequel. Then the next one is Wendell and Wild. I went into this knowing it was Henry Selick, who I've liked before, if you can check out my review for this. And it was also Jordan Peele. So I'm like, cool. All right, I'm in. I really liked it. I wish I could have loved it. I really like, all the like stuff and from Henry Selick's. It's like all the crazy looking characters. They're back in this, so I'm like, okay, like at least that's back. But yeah, it's just I didn't love this movie. I liked it. I just didn't love it. Marcel, the shell with the shoes on, or the shell with shoes on. I keep getting that mixed up. I was really anticipating this movie once I saw the trailer, because I'm thinking, I have no idea what this is. This is stop motion mixed with live action, but it's from A24, so I'm in. A24, especially if you once I read off the rest of my list, A24 has definitely become like the MCU, where it's like, I have no idea what this is, but hey, it's got their brand on it. I gotta see it. So A24 has definitely become that. And I also like how A24 has become the studio that, or is they've become known for like producing movies that no other studio would really do. So I really like that. And Marcel, the show with shoes on, I liked until the third act, when it felt like, oh shoot, we only have like 20 minutes left of the movie. Credits. So I'm like, okay, that felt really rushed. Like, you guys could have taken your time a little bit more, even though the movie was an hour and a half. I'm like, guys, you really like sped that up. And I'm like, you really didn't need to do that. You could have stretched it out a little bit more, and I think it would have been better if you did that. So that's why it's an honorable mention. Smile. Man, I went into this movie expecting complete garbage, because thanks to Truth or Dare, where the demon literally, every time it possessed someone, they look like a drunk elf when they're smiling. And when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, okay, this looks interesting, but I'm going into it kind of expecting it to be disposable, like Truth or Dare was. And nope, that's not what I got. It was a bit like, okay, I get which, I kind of see what's gonna happen next, or like, yeah, I think this is gonna happen, and it happened. I went like, yep, but it didn't like irk me. I was never like, oh god, they did that. I'm like, yep, they did that. But yeah, I was never irritated by that. So, and I liked how it was going slow paced. So it, when it eventually comes to the end, I was like, that's what I kind of thought. But then the last 2 minutes of the movie, I saw this with some friends, and all three of us just had our jaws to the floor once the credits happened, because it was like, it was a punch in the face, and then that's it, you're done. So yeah, all of us were like, oh my god, wow, that is that is the definition of screwed up. So great job, Smile, keep going. But it's mainly because of I kind of get what was happening, and it got off my list. The last honorable mention, The Northman. I really wanted to love this movie because it's from Robert Eggers, and I really like The Witch. I absolutely adore The Lighthouse. But I felt the pacing was a bit slow. It felt a little too long. There were some characters in there where I'm like, okay, they didn't really necessarily need to be there. And then especially some of the story, where it became like a revenge tale. But I didn't mind that it was a revenge story. But there were some parts where I'm going like, yeah, it's this typical thing all over again. But it had Robert Eggers' amazing direction. Cinematography was gorgeous. The acting was very top-notch. And, I did think this is better than The Witch, but not as good as The Lighthouse. But I still liked it, and I think I would rewatch these movies in the future. I mean, I bought Scream 5, so I would watch them again. So now it is time for the top 15, starting with number 15.
Get out of my way.
It's all part of the menu.
It's okay.
No, we're gonna die tonight.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
You told him it was my birthday?
Seemed funny about 3 hours ago.
The Menu. This one was very close to being an honorable mention. And in fact, this one almost got beat out by Smile. Smile was almost about to be on the top 15, but at the last minute I was like, you know what? The Menu. So this movie, I'll be completely honest. There were parts of this movie where I'm like, okay, I kind of can see where this is going to happen. I didn't care for anybody in this movie. I just wanted all of them to just perish. But it was the fact that it was slow-paced. It had a little bit of comedy edge to it. And the whole point of the movie was to hate everybody. And like, okay, because it's the way the characters were written. They weren't that way because it was badly written. They were written that way because they were supposed to be that very snooty, like in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like pretty much Mater D. It was like that. Like they were supposed to be snooty, like, oh my god, look at this, and very much like that. And I'm just like, yeah, you guys are just it's the foodies, like the food critics. You guys are the bunch of people where I'm like, yeah, you guys just have too much time on your hands and just shut up. But I overall liked this movie. The acting was really good. It was very much a like bottle movie because they're stuck in this one location. And I generally like the movie. So that's why it's on the list. But it almost didn't get on the list. Then, number 14.
Their blood, their pain, all for us. What is it you pray for?
Hellraiser. This was a genuine surprise. When I heard that they were rebooting Hellraiser, I immediately thought, oh god. Like, I don't think this is going to be good. Then it was announced that yeah, pretty much all the symbiotes were going to be gender swapped. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what you do. Then it was announced that David Bruckner, who I liked, the Night House. He did a segment in, I think it was the first VHS, and is coming back to do a segment in the new VHS 85 for next year, which I'm really excited for. So I'm like, okay, you have my attention. Then we got to look at what the symbiotes look like, and it was all practical. It was all makeup. It was all prosthetics, and I'm like, yay, you guys! Yes, cool. You guys doing the makeup, awesome. And then I watched the movie, and was like, okay, the cinematography I like. I liked how they added more lore to the actual puzzle box. I loved how it changed every time it claimed a victim. I really liked that. And I also liked how every time when the symbiotes attacked, they used like the entire world as like a puzzle. Like it shifted, like the walls changed, like all of a sudden stairs would just come out of the floor, and it's like, whoa, this is super cool. I'm really digging this. And then when it came time to the kills, I'm like, yes, you guys did the real stuff. And it was very brutal, and I was generally surprised on how good this movie was, because I went into it thinking it's probably not going to be very good, and then reviews were coming out, people were saying this was really good, and so I watched it, and I went, wow, okay, bravo guys, bravo. So it's on my list. Number 13.
This process might seem overwhelming, but with a little practice, it can soon become a pleasurable experience. This is perfectly natural.
Barbarian. This was again another surprise, because I saw the trailer and it didn't really explain much, and I went, okay, you have a good cast, alright, I'm in for this. Watched it, and it is a prime example of why I'm never doing Airbnb. I mean, I'd never done it before, but this movie just sold it. So, this felt very, even though it was produced by, it was 20th Century and Regency, aka Disney, it felt very independent. It felt very low budget. They kept the location pretty much to one location the entire movie, and I liked that. And I was definitely, in the trailer, I was going like, huh, what's going on here? And then the movie kept going. As further the movie was going, it was starting to explain stuff. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's screwed up. Like, wow, all right. And then some parts where I'm like, wow, that generally took me by surprise. I would say this. There's one part in the movie that's at the very, very, very end that I went, nope. But honestly, the rest of the movie was so good that I'm like, alright, I can give that a pass. So, Barbarian, really, really good. Next movie is a movie I saw, but didn't review because it came out in December. And that movie is...
Espresso.
I don't trust you.
Trust me.
You gotta trust him. Look at those eyes.
You call that cute?
And with the paws. Am I doing it? Stop. You're gonna give yourself a hernia.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Now, I really liked the first movie. In fact, I went to the premiere, the actual premiere. I was like 9 or 10 years old. And I really dug the movie. And I've always, every time when I watch the Shrek movies, I was going, they should really do a solo movie just solely on Puss in Boots and not have like Shrek be in it, because I think that would be a really cool movie. And they did a prequel for Puss in Boots, and I went, that worked extremely well. But then they were very much like, we don't know if we're going to do another one. And then, boom, here they come. And they do another one, and I went, yes, you guys are doing another one. And it does not disappoint. Yes, the animation looks different, but that's because DreamWorks has definitely improved and definitely matured as an animated studio. But also, they, in the past couple of years, their movies have been maybe not really on the line of like old school Disney, like Disney back in the 40s and 50s when their animated movies were for kids, but they were also for adults. It was, yeah, it had that kid appeal, but also adults can watch it and get a kick out of them. Like, definitely in the last couple of years. Like, when I watched the first Boss Baby, I went, wow, you guys were able to get away with that? Okay. And there's some things in here where I'm like, wow, I'm surprised that you guys got away with it. Like, they use the bleep sound effect for when someone swears as a gag. And I went, wow, you guys got away with that. That's funny. And I was pleasantly surprised, because especially when I saw The Last Wish, and I went, oh, you're doing a Wish movie. Uh-oh. There's going to be plot holes. But then then they reveal the story like, no. It's getting one, not you don't have them. And went, okay, good. Like good. Like, I thought like Wonder Woman 1984, I thought that was not very good. Wish Upon, which, ugh. We don't need to talk about that. If you want to see the review, boom. But I was both excited and worried going into this, because I'm like, yeah, I don't think they're going to do just as good a job as the first movie did, and they were right on par with the first movie. Like, I did like how it got weirder. I did like how the animation got weirder, and I didn't have a problem with that. I generally liked that. And even the story, I really dug. I do like the idea of a character who, the way the character is written, he or she is not supposed to have fear, but then becomes, scared. I've always liked that, because, yeah, fear is kind of what keeps us grounded as people. So, they got everybody back. They got Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek back, which is great, because the two of them working together is just always a joy. I loved this, the animation. I liked the story. The comedy was very good. It caught me off guard a lot of the times. So I generally really liked the movie. Number 11.
I want to be loved from as many people as possible. But truth is, I'm not really a good person.
Pearl. Now, just wait for something. But Pearl, it was like if Psycho was in The Wizard of Oz. Just, I loved how, I believe it was set in, I believe it was the 50s. It was the 50s or 40s. But it felt very much like that old, like, Technicolor look, where it looked like it was on film, and you're just like, wow, this is just gorgeous looking. This movie nailed that. This is definitely a love letter to all those old school 40s and 50s, color movies. But then when you look underneath the surface, you're like, yeah, there's also something psychotic about this too. It's like American Psycho in The Wizard of Oz. And it works really well. Well, first of all, I have to credit a lot of that to Ty West and Mia Goth. Mia Goth, she's just an incredible actress. She does, like, someone calculated, she does a She does a 9.5-minute monologue in one take and one frame for 9.5 minutes, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing. And it also didn't help that I saw this movie in a theater by myself, because no one wants to support these indie films, which is stupid. But it also doesn't help that during the credits, she's literally smiling and staring at you. And think about that. During the credits, she's smiling and staring at you, and I'm in a theater all by myself. Nope, I'm fine. I was pretty disturbed. So, great job. Alright, now we're getting into the top 10, which number 10, another movie that I saw this month and just didn't review. And that film is...
That's naughty!
And what do you do to the naughty ones?
I give him a lump of coal.
Where is it?
I gotta watch.
I believe in you, Santa.
Come on. Which one of you did that? Prancer? So unprofessional.
Violent Night. Man, when I saw the poster first, and it was David Harbour's Santa Claus. I immediately thought it was like the day the reindeer died, or it was the night the reindeer died from Scrooged. I immediately thought that that's what this was. Then the trailer came out, and I went, oh no, it's about a 1,000-year-old Viking who became Santa Claus and wants to help out a little girl, by killing all these burglars. That is like Die Hard. This is very Die Hard. It's a very Die Hard premise, but if it had Santa Claus in it, and I really dug this movie, and it also it helps that apparently, according to David Harbour, he'd worked with, I think it was 87 North, who also helped do the movie Bullet Train, on doing a lot of the fight scenes. So I'm like, great, you guys do the real stuff. So I'm glad that these actual actors are willing to do all the fight scenes, like their own fight scenes. I miss that, and I'm glad that it's getting a resurgence. But Violent Night, I really wish there's more movies like Violent Night where it has a stupid concept. Everybody knows it's stupid, but yet they're taking it seriously, and it's great. Very much kind of like the movie Overlord, where it's Nazi zombies. It's a dumb concept, but they take it seriously and they roll with it, and it's great. So, Violent Night, it's definitely a movie where I will get it once it comes out on physical release, and it's probably going to be one up there with Die Hard and The Ref and The Nightmare Before Christmas, or I'm going to try to watch it every year for Christmas, because it is just that much fun and that great. Next up, number 9.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Whoa! This guy's crazy!
The Batman. Now, if you go back and look at my original review, I gave this an amazing. But over time, more movies have topped it, and I went, okay, this is definitely kind of dropped down the more I think about it. But it's still a very well-made movie. The whole casting of Robert Pattinson, I went, okay, and this was before I watched, The Lighthouse, and then once I saw that movie, and I went, wow, okay, he's actually a really good actor, and especially under the direction of Matt Reeves, who did, Cloverfield, which still freaks me out, Let Me In, Dawn and War, The Planet of the Apes. I'm like, okay, I can see how this can be a really, really good movie, and it does not disappoint. But Does it have issue? Do I have issues? Yes. Is it a tad bit long? Yes. But is it a really good, gritty Batman story? Yes, it is. And, you know, I really enjoyed it. And, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Okay, number 8.
You will never forgive yourself.
No turning back now.
Come on! Jeez!
Having any fun yet?
Top Gun Maverick. I'm not a huge fan of the first movie, mainly because there is no story, and it pretty much the entire thing about the first Top Gun is just the music and Kenny Loggins. That's all you think about. It's all about eye candy. And even if you go back and like look at like what Tony Scott said, the director of the first movie, he thought he was just making a music video, and I'm like, yep, it's kind of why I don't think the first movie has a whole lot of rewatchability. To me, it's all the visuals. But, you know, especially nowadays when like I see something from like Michael Bay where he's just all about the visual, but story and script come very last. So I was a bit hesitant going into this movie because I was thinking like, oh god, is it just going to be all about the eye candy? There's going to be no story. Went into it very surprised on how much I liked it. It actually has a story. I liked the story. And I think, you know, me personally, I think this one was better than the first movie. But that's just me. So I generally liked this movie. So it's on my list. Number 7.
Whatever did this, I can kill it.
Prey. This surprised me like Hellraiser did. Because when I heard they were doing another Predator movie, and I went, oh god, like I don't know how I feel about this. But then they announced that it's going to be a prequel to the first movie, and I went, okay, well, what are you guys going to do? Oh, we're going to take it back to the Civil War time. And I went, okay, that's cool. Oh, we're going to have the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane do it. Okay. It's going to be rated R. Okay. And then I watched it. And I was genuinely surprised. It caught me off guard on how good it was. I had faith because it was the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I really liked that movie. You know, everybody can talk about its third act all they want. I still like the movie. But this one, I thought was really good. And was generally, you know, I generally was shocked on how good this was. Like, it is definitely, it's like the first movie. It's a survival movie. It's a survival action movie. Like the first movie. And it also helps that the gore is pretty spot on. Like, it is pretty graphic. Like, I even looked up the rating, and it said rated R for violence. Nothing else. So, I was very happy about that. So, I'm glad they did that, and I really think if they want to continue doing more Predator movies, they need to not continue off, like, oh, we need to it's a sequel to Predator 1, or Predator 2, or The Predator, or even Prey. Make it about the Predator going to different periods in time, like the American Revolutionary, or World War I, World War II. Like, that's more interesting to me. That's more cool. I think they should do that. To then it becomes a series of spin-off movies, not sequels, not a sequel series, spin-off movies. And I think it would work that way. Kind of like what the Halloween series was supposed to be with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It was supposed to distance itself away from Michael Myers, but it just didn't work because the script sucked, the third act sucked, and, you know, like, I can just sit in here and talk about that, but we're just going to move on. Number 6.
Oh, no, thank you.
You know what? Do you have anything sparkling? That's the one. Thank you. Domo arigato. You sure you want to talk this out?
Not particularly, no.
Okay.
Bullet Train. When I saw the trailer for this, I was thinking, okay, this is just another one of those, like, goofball action movies. And it is. And then I saw it, and I had more fun than I thought I was going to have, because there were generally moments where I was laughing. I saw this with a couple friends, and we were just dying laughing. The cameos they had, we were just like almost like knee slapping, because we were like, oh, no way, because we didn't hear anything. And that's what I think cameos should be, like, very secret. They shouldn't be all, like, even though all these worked, when Stan Lee popped up in all the Marvel in the MCU movies, with this, it was like, that was totally unexpected. I was not expecting to see you. I was not expecting to see you. And I'm like, oh my God, that was awesome. So, yeah, when I saw this with some friends, we were just laughing so hard, and then I kept poking my father with a stick to, like, yeah, we gotta watch this movie. Like, you are going to love it. And we watched it, and yeah, he liked it quite a bit. So I'm like, told you. So, yeah, Bullet Train was so much fun. So that's why it's on my list. Number 5.
One of the boys found this inside.
What do you think is on it?
X. Remember how I said hold on when it came to Pearl? Here we go. I saw the trailer for X and thought, okay, this looks interesting. Went and saw the movie, liked it more than I thought it would. And I went, wow, okay, that was unlike something I've seen before. This felt very much like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But it was like if you have this, if you were filming a porno on the set of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but with Psycho going on. And I'm like, all right, I'm with this. This is awesome. This felt kind of much like those Grindhouse movies from back in, like, the 70s. But you know, much higher quality, which I loved. You know, the acting was great. The location, which they used the same location in Pearl, which was just amazing. And I really liked this movie. So I have both X and Pearl on physical release, because immediately I was like, yeah, I'm buying that. After I walked out of the theater, I'm like, yeah, I'm hands down getting those. So, yeah, X I liked more than Pearl, but I still really liked both movies. Number 4. The Black Phone. Now, I do like Scott Derrickson's stuff, like Sinister and his Doctor Strange movie, and then Deliver Us from Evil, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I really liked his stuff. And then I heard about this movie, because he talks about how if he was doing Doctor Strange 2, this would have been either shelved, or, yeah, they wouldn't have done this movie, or they would have given it to somebody else to do it. And because he walked off of Doctor Strange 2 because of, I believe he said it was due to creative issues, they did this. They were like, well, Doctor Strange 2 ain't gonna work. What are we gonna do? Well, we already have the script done. Let's make this. And they went and did this, and I'm very glad that he went back to doing a horror movie. And also Scott Derrickson did a segment in the new VHS movie coming out next year, alongside with David Bruckner, who did the Hellraiser movie. So I'm very excited about that. I can just geek out about the VHS movies all day. But I thought that this movie was just, it was very intense, especially coming from Ethan Hawke, who I thought was scary in the movie, mainly because you really only see his full on face once. Other than that, he's wearing a mask, even parts of it, and I'm going, yeah, this is scary. And he is creepy. And man, the things they did for this movie, like setting it in the 70s, I think it was Colorado, and yeah, just even the story, I was like, wow, this was really, really, really good. So very, very, very great movie, and yes, I have it physically. Number 3.
Yeah, nah.
This shouldn't come as a surprise, but once I saw the trailer for this, I didn't say nope, I said yeah. So, yeah, because, you know, I love Get Out, and I really liked Us. I think Us kind of gets a bad rap, because people are like, it's not like Get Out, it's different than Get Out. It's like, that's the whole point. I heard a lot of people say that they think that Nope is better than Get Out. To me, it's not. To me, it's better than Us. But I still think Get Out is superior. But I still really like this movie. In fact, when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, I liked it. But then the more I thought about it, and then went back and rewatched it, and went, yeah, okay, I really dig this. So, yeah, I think I really love Jordan Peele. I kind of wish he did more movies now. And, you know, and I also like, but at the same time, I also like that he takes his time when he's going to direct a movie. And he even said that he didn't know if he was going to direct this one. I'm like, dude, if you solely wrote it, you have to direct it. Like, there is no question. There is no there is no judgment. Like, you need to do this. So, and I'm glad he did. And I also, this felt very much kind of like a Western, like a sci-fi Western, which I liked. You know, the closest thing I think we have to like a sci-fi Western is Jon Favreau's Cowboys and Aliens. And this is much better. So, yeah, really, really good movie. I didn't like it as much as Get Out, but, you know, they're two very different movies, so you can't compare them. Next movie is the final movie that I saw this month and just didn't review. And that movie is...
Life is such a wonderful gift.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Now, I didn't see the Disney one that Zemeckis did, because I was like, yeah, I'm tired of the Disney live action remakes, and I heard it was terrible. So I'm like, yep, and that's why I didn't see it. And I also didn't see the one where it was Pauly Shore voicing Pinocchio, and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. You guys had me turn it off. I'm like, no. Pauly Shore's Pinocchio, yeah, no. And then I heard some of the dialogue for that movie, and I went, yeah, see, this is why I didn't do this. So, no. But then the trailer for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio came out, and I was going, okay, I like how it's stop motion. I really like the cast they have, but can they do a proper telling of Pinocchio? And man, did they ever. I think after this, Hollywood should not do another Pinocchio movie, because this, I think, is the definitive version. Because they really nail that Pinocchio is just a nagging little brat. Because in the story, he was a little brat. And it's not like the Disney version, where they changed him to be more chippy and happy and just like a little boy that has good intentions but doesn't know what to do. This, it's like, well, I really should do this, but oh well. Because that was the Pinocchio in the original story. And I also liked how this one got darker. Like, they set this in Italy during World War II. And I went, uh-oh. Like, this is not going to go good. And some of the things they do, I'm like, wow, you guys, I'm surprised you guys did this. But bravo, you guys did the definitive version of Pinocchio. No one needs to do any other version. This is the version you need to watch. And when an animated movie, or in this case a stop-motion movie, makes you cry, congratulations, you get bonus points. Now, my number one, we're now at the finish line. My number one best movie of 2022 goes to...
Every rejection, every disappointment has led you here. To this moment. Don't let anything distract you from it.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Once I saw the trailer for this, I knew I had to see this. Because I'm like, it's a multiverse story. It's a drama movie. It's a comedy. It's weird. It has kung fu. And the cast, I was like, wow, yes, this is all the ingredients I need. I need to watch this movie. And I'm so glad that I did. Especially I saw this in the theater. I'm so glad I did. Because, yeah, even though this movie came out like earlier in the year, it was like no other movie this year topped it. Like, not even Nope. And I'm like, yeah, nope. I said nope to that. I was like, yep, nope. This movie just remains number one. So it's weird. I always like multiverse stories, and this one does a really good job at just being a weird multiverse story. Because, yeah, with the multiverse, yeah, it can be anything you want. Like, yeah, go to a universe where everyone has pretty much like hot dogs for hands or for fingers, and it's like, okay, I didn't think this would be a thing, but okay. And then have a backstory for that, where apparently humans that have hot dogs for fingers, like hot dog-like fingers, apparently killed everyone who had normal fingers and just repopulated. Like, okay, I didn't think this was gonna happen, but you know what? I'm like in shock on how much depth you guys went into this. I'm weirded out, which is great. I'm laughing because it's funny, because it's so ridiculous. But I loved it. I loved this movie. So, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, I'm really hoping gets nominated for some Oscars. I really hope it does. And it is hands down my number one best film of the year. And that is it. That is my best of list. This took way longer than I think it should have, but oh well. It's a list video. But thank you so much for listening, watching at the same time. But thank you so much. And yeah, you got my worst of list at the beginning, so you don't need to do one. The movies that I didn't review, so Pinocchio, Violent Night, Puss in Boots, and Marcel, I'll probably do those in January. So just be on the lookout for those when I do them. But thank you so much for listening and watching. And goodbye.